We tend to think of the internet as a completely open space. But while digital information travels instantly across the globe, the laws governing that information hit rigid, invisible walls at every border. Corporate strategy often relies on the old cliché that data is the new oil. In reality, the comparison fails. Unlike oil, unrefined data is a massive legal liability. It can be copied endlessly and is tied directly to the rights of the people who generated it. To see exactly how that liability plays out, let's look at the catastrophic breach of a global fitness app called SmartFit. The compromised files exposed highly sensitive information, identifiable names, real-time biometric heart rates, and precise GPS location histories. The app was developed in one country, hosted on cloud servers in another, and downloaded by users worldwide. Because of this architecture, SmartFit is suddenly subject to conflicting international privacy laws, all at the exact same time. The first major regulatory hurdle sits here, in the legislative chamber of the European Parliament. The European Union enforces the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. This framework codifies data privacy as a fundamental, unified human right for every citizen across the entire continent. When a company violates that right, regulators can levy fines up to 4% of annual global turnover, or 20 million euros. Applied to SmartFit, that penalty consumes their entire operational budget. A technical IT failure creates a direct threat of bankruptcy. Global companies cannot treat European data protection as a regional compliance chore. The severity of the penalties forces it to become an inescapable baseline requirement for the whole organization. The environment changes entirely in the US. This image of the United States Capitol building represents a completely different legal philosophy, as there is no single overarching federal privacy law equivalent to the GDPR. US law is fractured by sector. The HIPAA framework applies strict rules to specific healthcare data, but a commercial fitness app like SmartFit falls outside that jurisdiction, leaving massive regulatory gaps. The landscape is fractured further by state borders. This is the California state capital, where lawmakers enforce the CCPA, a strict set of regional rules that tech companies must navigate independently of federal law. On the left, a heavily armored vault represents technical data security. SmartFit used encryption to lock the information away. On the right, an unauthorized contract represents the privacy failure, a lack of legal consent to collect that sensitive data in the first place. To survive the US legal framework, an organization has to constantly monitor and adapt to dozens of shifting, localized regulations, rather than adhering to one unified standard. A data breach is an irreversible event. No security update or policy change applied after the fact can pull sensitive biometric profiles or location histories back from the public domain once they have been exposed. This blueprint shows the new engineering standard, privacy by design. Shields are embedded into the foundation from the start. The architecture uses data minimization, actively rejecting non-vital nodes, like contacts, and accepting only the essential. It utilizes privacy by default, keeping all data-sharing switches locked off. This proactive architectural approach replaces the traditional habit of building software quickly and relying on an IT security firewall to block threats later. Data governance is often viewed as a bureaucratic roadblock. In reality, it is the enabling framework that allows a company to build the lasting user trust required to operate in the digital economy.